Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a first look at Gold Mythic Daiyu, who is going to be the first exclusive Mythic character to make it into the Battle Pass as she makes it into Mythic Battle Pass 7. Visually you can see she looks really cool. I like her stance a lot. This is a custom stance, but it does look really cool. You can see the comparisons between the art on the left hand side and the right hand side. I'll show you the animation of the attack as well, and it looks really nice. I really like that she unsheaths the sword, does an attack, and then puts it back halfway into the sheath. I love it. I love it. It looks visually, hats off. I think the actual art on the right hand side actually does better than the art on the left hand side, which is very rare. If we look at the stats of this character, as a Limit Break 3 level 720 character, she has 15,044 attack, 15,044 defense, but 20,059 HP. She is a strong character, considered a damage dealer, so quite low damage considering she is considered a damage dealer. A mythic character, of course, and she is going to be another character to join the Typhoon Allegiance, making it, I believe, the third character to make it into that allegiance, with both Lu and Zhifeng being the previously released characters. Now, of course, Daiyu has got an adrenaline rush, and it is called Unbreakable Stance, and it has got a very slow recharge rate of 75 AP. I believe there's only one other gold mythic with a rush this slow, and I think it is Frost. Deal 400% damage to up to 3 enemies. This character gets 100% defense for 2 turns and 100% bonus HP. So it is a nice rush, don't get me wrong. If you had her on a defense team, bonus HP is really powerful. Defense bonus like that as well for 2 turns, extremely powerful, but it is very slow. 400% is still going to do a reasonable amount of damage, and that actually can be boosted by other parts of her kit, which we will get into later. But the defense and bonus HP are always going to be really good. If you do put her on a defense team, and so far the Typhoon characters have seemed more defensive, she would be really nice there, honestly. She'd be really nice in terms of getting defense and bonus HP. The rush, though, it's not going to be super fast. It really depends on how quick her signature move turnaround is going to be. She's going to need AP on attack and then some. So that's going to be a big downside in terms of her not being able to double down on defensive stats. But we'll just check out how the basis of this rush will work. Okay, so we've got the adrenaline rush up of Daiyu here. And as you can see, she is full HP. No bonus HP as it stands. No buffs on her right now. I'm just going to select Garrett here. And we'll attack Garrett plus 2 other random enemies. And as you can see, we're going to do 400%. We're going to do a lot more damage to someone when we do trait damage. But now we can see we've got 100% defense buff, which is very nice. Very reduced damage incoming right now. Just off base, that would mean she's got 30,000 defense. But obviously, if you scale that up with lieutenants, her weapon, if you gave her a defense buff, it could get a lot higher with that 100% boost. Now, her bonus HP again, same sort of deal. It's doubled her HP effectively. She's now nearly got 40,000 HP off base without lieutenants, without a weapon upgrade, without any HP from leader. So she definitely can get a nice big amount of HP, including that bonus HP, and make her extremely tanky and hard to deal with. However, I think a lot of people are just going to see that 75 AP and just be put off quite a lot. I think it isn't as big a deal as it seems, but just the difference between 66 and 75, it would have been actually pretty big. You potentially could have scaled the defense buff and bonus HP buff down to 50% on each, and it would have been reasonable still. But yeah, I think this going off is very important, and it is quite hard sometimes for certain defense team characters to rush. But if she was used in a Typhoon team, there would be a potential that Zhifeng could proc the camouflage, and potentially, like, let's say eventually there were 5 Typhoon characters, you're going to have to directly focus one character. And I will say other parts of Daiyu's kit make it so that it's not a good idea to focus her. But we'll go over the rest of the upgrades here, and you can see at grade 3 she gets a 25% defense boost, so it goes from 25% up to 50%. At grade 5 she gets a 25% bonus HP boost so it goes from 25% up to 50%. At Limit Break 2, she'll get a 50% defense boost, so it'll go from 50% to the 100%. And at Limit Break 3, she'll get a 50% bonus HP boost, so it'll go from 50% up to 100%. All of these are just basically boosting her defensive status. The 400%, even though she's seen as a damage dealer, isn't going to be that big a deal. On a defense team, if she did attack a damage dealer, if for instance she is strong, so if she did hit Lydia would absolutely just be destroyed. But bonus HP is on attack teams too, so you know she's not going to be doing maybe enough damage in certain scenarios. But like I said, we'll look at the rest of her kit. I don't think her rush is her most powerful part of her kit, but if this does go off, she's obviously going to be much harder to take down. Now, one of the more powerful parts of her kit is her signature move. It's called Mutilating Blade. It is an initial cooldown of turn 1, cooldown of 2 turns, number of uses unlimited. Attack an enemy for 200% damage. That enemy gets 100% heal reduction for 2 turns. This is the first character to be introduced with a 100% heal reduction, I believe. I don't think anyone got any Limit Break 3 upgrades to 100% heal reduction either. I think the highest we've got is like 80%, I think, on Mike's signature move, or maybe his basic attacks when it comes to Limit Break 3. Obviously, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think maybe Lydia actually has 80% on her rush as well. But this is going to be good for certain game modes. This is also not too bad for certain attack teams. You can almost guarantee a takedown on anyone in Conquest, Challenge Run, or Rage, just because if you team this character up with someone who does have infection, they've got 0 chance of hitting that up unless they cleanse the heal reduction. So that's actually not too bad at all. On a defense team, it's going to be a bit random if you do use her on a defense team, but she will focus a fast character, and that is a 200% damage hit. If she does manage to take them out, they will be blocked on them being revived for 2 turns. So if you, let's say you're running Lydia and you're running Michonne 2000 in the same team, Daiyu just one-shots Lydia, Michonne 2000 then maybe gets a kill the next turn and she has a chance to proc the revive, this is going to block that. Okay, so we'll just show the signature move off of turn 1, and it's pretty basic. We're going to select a character on a defense team. We'll just make it simple and select Dr. Stevens here. Now, Dr. Stevens has got Halo. If we take him out, he can obviously still Halo because 100% heal reduction does not block the Halo revive, because it is effectively already initiated the revive before this has gone off, before the 100% heal reduction has come in, basically. That's how heal reduction works. But it will obviously be able to take him down, trait damage, so on and so forth. We can crit this, so crit damage would have one-shot him in this situation. And you can obviously escalate her damage up as high as possible. Strong attacks, she can be used in a strong attacks team in certain scenarios. That could be pretty decent. But on defense teams, you're going to be attacking characters with no defense boosts, so it doesn't make too much of a difference in terms of her damage output. Now, agility on her passives would only increase so far her signature move and her basic attacks, because her rush is not multi-hit, so there'll be no boost there, but it will do a 20%, up to 20% boost on this adrenaline rush, which isn't too bad. And obviously with heal reduction, it does counter certain specialist skills like vitality, this sort of thing, where if the character would gain HP based off of anything to do with their kit, based off of their passives, based off of their specialist skill like vitality, but because of their AP, well, it's just going to 100% block it. This is obviously the most powerful heal reduction. Teamed up in the right combo, it's going to be devastating in certain game modes, but I think on a defense team, it's mainly going to be about the damage and the fact that she's going to gain 35 AP from doing this. And like I said before, that AP is going to be important. It has only got a cooldown of 2 turns though, and this is going to be an issue in terms of, like I said, the turnaround of AP that she's going to be required to gain to get like good natural rushes. But if people just ignore her, she's obviously going to be able to do pretty reasonable damage. If people start to focus her, then she should get some AP that way. We'll look into the rest of her kit in a bit and see why that could be a problem otherwise. But at grade 2, she gets -1 to cooldown, so it goes from 3 turns to 2 turns. At grade 4, she gets -1 to starting cooldown, so it goes from 3 turns to 2 turns. And at limit break 1, she gets -1 to starting cooldown once again, and it goes from 2 turns down to 1 turn. Now, the 1 turn signature move, the first turn, is quite important. I think you want to get as a big hit out on her as early as possible, whether she's on defense, whether she's on attack. There's no change in the 100% heal reduction, however. Whenever that pops, she's always going to be doing 100% heal reduction, which is pretty useful, like I said, in certain game modes. Now, Daiyu has the mythic abilities, of course. These are her passive skills. Now, because she is considered a damage role character, she will have agility. So she'll get up to 20% increase in basic attack damage, which will increase the damage she does with her basic attacks and her signature move, but not her rush, like I said before. Her next passive is called Bountiful Demise. When a teammate dies, 100% chance this character recovers from all penalties. This is actually pretty cool, and we've seen this with a couple of the other Typhoon characters so far, and I'm going to just go ahead and guess the future Typhoon characters are going to have something like this in their kit as well, where if you take someone out on their team, everyone so far on a Typhoon team will get buffed. So let's say you've got Daiyu, Zhefeng, and Lu on a defense team. If you take out one of their teammates, let's say a Kapoor, just say, all of them have got something within their passive which buffs them if an enemy dies. So it doesn't matter if you do get a full Typhoon team, it doesn't seem to matter who you take out. Everyone's going to get a boost because of that. This could be quite interesting. And she's going to get a second one as well. Fight until the end. When a teammate dies, this character gets 60% attack for 2 turns. And 60% attack is going to boost that rush quite significantly, as it will the signature move, but it will be able to multiply with other parts of her kit, namely her specialist skill, which we will get onto in a bit. And lastly, she has one where when a teammate dies, again, this time it's 40% chance. The other times it's 100% chance, but this time it's a 40% chance to revive a single teammate with 25% of their max HP. This is honestly really interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put her on a defense team, and I'm going to put her surrounded by 2 stars, and I'm going to just start taking out her teammates and see how that works. I want to see, actually, if I attack the first character, can it revive the character that you actually attack? Like, is there a 40% chance the character you take out gets instantly revived back up? Let's have a look. Okay, so we're going to attack, and we've got Daiyu just in the team with 4 S-class characters. I was going to use 2 stars, but then I remembered the S-class characters will drop pretty quick as well. I want to see if the first character can be revived by the passive. Obviously, it'll take a lot of testing. 40% chance. We'll see if the character gets revived that I attack. This can get out of control, guys. This can get out of control. So we have had, I think that was 3 revives come in at 40% chance. So this is what could potentially happen. Oh my goodness. Oh, we were on a roll. We were on a roll. That is what potentially could happen. And yeah, that was a lot of revives. It doesn't seem that great, you know, when you just read it, but the potential is pretty high. And that means you're going to have to focus Daiyu first. She hasn't got any boosts that she gives out if she's taken out. However, as we know, the other Typhoon characters have boosts if teammates are taken out. So that is something to note. So on a defense team, those passives could be pretty interesting indeed. You saw the buffs going off when teammates were being taken out as well. You know, you didn't see it, but she would have cleansed any control on her as well when a teammate is taken out. So very interesting indeed. We're going to look at the upgrades. You can see at grade 1, she gets the first half of Bountiful Demise. That's the 50% chance to recover from all penalties. At grade 2, she's going to get the first half of Agility. At grade 3, she's going to get the second half of Bountiful Demise, making a 100% chance to basically full cleanse. At grade 4, she's going to get Until the End, which is 30% attack when a character is taken out, a teammate is taken out. At grade 5, she is going to get the first half of Death and Life. When a teammate dies, 20% chance to revive a single teammate with 25% of their max HP. At grade 5, Limit Break 1, she's going to have a 10% increase in basic attack damage. And then she's going to get the second half of Fight Until the End in Limit Break 2. And that's going to be a grand total of 60% attack for 2 turns when a teammate dies. And lastly, she gets the second half of death and life limit break 3, which makes it a grand total of 40% chance to revive a single teammate with 25% of their max HP. Now, it is worth noting that on something like Challenge Run or Conquest, this could be actually pretty useful, where your teammates are going to get dropped pretty easily, but Daiyu being on the team could potentially just make another teammate get picked up. 40% chance is reasonable. It's reasonable, you know, that it's going to happen. You know, I think that is probably the lowest and still being decent. You know, you'd like to see 50%, you know, 50-50, but I mean, it is as good as. I definitely say that is the best part of her kit so far, without a doubt. Now, you probably saw her specialist skill before, and it is one that works mainly on defense teams, and again, can sort of work on attack teams in certain game modes. For instance, Conquest or Challenge Run. If your teammates are taken out, Hold the Line is going to be pretty decent. For every dead teammate, this specialist receives 25% defense and 25% attack, in addition to any existing attack or defense increases, including prior activations of this skill. Now, you might have noticed that when I took out one of her teammates, she had 220% attack, and that's because she got the 60% from that boost, the 100% boost from this, and then she got a 100% boost of 60% again added on. They will multiply together, and she got 220% attack because of that. Obviously, that scenario is not going to pop up too often because you're not always going to have 4 teammates taken out, but that is a big buff. And obviously, if she had her rush go off with the 100% defense boost, I think she would potentially have 300% defense in that situation. Yeah, so it all stacks together. Let's just put it that way. It all stacks together. So far, Daiyu has looked reasonably interesting. I think she definitely could have been a bit more powerful when it comes to her rush. Her signature move is quite nice. Her passives are pretty decent, and they will work very nicely, you know, in certain teams and certain game modes. I'm not too fussed about her specialist skill personally, but she has got quite a nice and hard to come by, well, impossible to come by weapon for a strong character. And that is Daiyu's Samurai Sword, which has 35% attack, 35% defense, and then it has stun on defense. When being attacked, a better chance to stun the attacker for their next 2 turns. Now, this is going to be where it's interesting, because Daiyu is that character that you want to take out first on the defense team, because she's giving herself no boosts. She gets massive boosts when teammates are taken out. But if you take her out and you focus her, she's going to get a big boost when it comes to the potential to stun people, which is obviously really powerful. Stun is the most powerful control in the game, without a doubt. And strong characters honestly don't have that good control factor on defense team weapons. You know, they've got AP drain, which is not really that high a risk. You can still use signature moves the next turn. You can still be commanded, you know, all the good stuff. So it isn't that big a risk. Now, you could say, well, I could just easily disarm this. You could just slap a defense while disarmed mod on Daiyu, so that the second she's disarmed, she gets 120% defense, which means, again, she's not really going to get taken out very easily. So there's definitely ways you can utilize this character. The downside of this, I guess you could say, is the fact that the stat boost that she's getting boosted are her worst stats. It is going to be her attack and defense. If that was 35% HP instead of defense, I would have much preferred it, because it is giving the percentage boost to the largest stat, which is going to give the largest outcome. That would be the only thing I'd change. I think her weapon is actually pretty nice. So this was Gold Mythic Daiyu, and she is going to be the Gold Mythic character in Mythic Battle Pass 7, so stay tuned for more information on that. And I think she is okay. I think she's a reasonable character as a standalone. She could be useful in like I say, in certain game modes, but I think where she's going to shine is going to be in a full Typhoon team. She is going to be really useful in those teams, because in the team she is, if she's not in a Typhoon team, you could just focus her, or, you know, and have no real issues. Whereas if she's in a Typhoon team already, they're getting buffs if you do focus her, and she's not going to be easy to take out. You can mod her pretty easily to counter the fact that you can disarm her, And if you don't have a disarm, then you're running the risk of stun on defense. So I don't think she's too bad at all. She's not spectacular. She's definitely not Lu levels, but she is a very good character in the right setup with the right teammates. Give me your thoughts on Gold Mythic Daiyu though as a character. Do you think she lives up to the Daiyu of the past? She visually looks very different. I actually really like the visuals of this one. I like the visuals of the S-Class too with the whole like biker outfit. But this, I love the stance. I love it all here. But like I said, do leave your thoughts in the comments down below. That is the end of my video, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.